Get my game on so I can do it. Baby, what are you doing?
Baby, it's being recorded. You don't want to yell at me.
Why?
Okay, yell at me. Mary, are you here?
We've never done anything like that in this country. I mean, Reconstruction was very tough on the losers, obviously, but we've never had a former president indicted, for example. We just don't.
Okay, so you said yes. So I have a question, Mary. Recently, someone told me they were watching our sessions because I record them, and they said this lady said that there was a black, unfriendly spirit around me, and I was wondering, would you be able to see any black or unfriendly spirits around me if there was during our sessions? M O S T A N D C E R T A I
So Twitter, and
and
an endless series of dystopian segments, but we got to tell you what's actually happening. Twitter censoring a member
L
of the White House Coronavirus Task Force
Y
talking about science without permission. His name is Dr. Scott Atlas.
and
We'll talk to him right after the break.
A
I try to put my arm around any vet that I
L L
That's what we're doing. We put our arm around the veterans. When I think of the veteran out there that needs to refund,
S
may want to purchase
T
them and provide that financial solution for they and their
H
families. It's a great rewarding
A
feeling. Everybody in the company
T
that deference and that respect
A
that makes this company so unique.
H
Selling a home is expensive
U
and stressful, so we set out to grow
M
our home selling experience with a network of the most successful real estate
A
agents in America. They'll sell your
N
home for as little as a 2% commission.
C A
We say
N
$1,000 in commission. We would definitely use
P
the whole process.
E
Positive for us.
R
Getting right to the point, hiring.
S
I wish we would have done that sooner,
E
and we would have saved 6 months of time and mortgage payments that
B
probably never happened if we would have just gone with it first.
E
So stress-free, the whole process was amazing.
most and certainly all that a human can preserve.
It's just a great experience. We are not a discount brokers. These are top agents that'll get you the best
Most and certainly all that a human can preserve. Is that what you wrote, Mary?
Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza.
Mary, was the first word you wrote most?
Using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River.
Was the second word that you wrote and?
But extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases.
Was the third word that you wrote certainly?
Pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to
Was the next word you wrote all? Was the next word you wrote that? Was the next word that you wrote Oh, you wrote most and certainly all that a human can perceive? Yeah, I said that wrong. You did write perceive. That was my mistake. Mary, so you can see, if there was a negative spirit, an unfriendly spirit behind me, a black one. So have there ever been one that you've seen? No. Well, that lady must have lied to me then. Mary, I was talking to another girl. I was actually talking to her today, and she said that she thought that your planet that you live on in the fifth dimension was named Tidus. Tidus. Is that the name of your planet? No, I didn't think so, because she said that the planet had one moon on it. I think she was making things up. So I'll move on. Well, what I'm curious now. What is the name of your planet? I H A V E O P O E. I have a PO. I have OPO. OPOE. Did you write I have OPOE? What's OPOE? N O N E. Wait, you said I have none then. Okay. Sorry about that. The planchette goes off the board half the time when you go to N, so it goes to O a lot more whenever you go to N. Mary, you said you have no planet. Is that what you said? Yes. Mary, how does that work that you have no planet? So what do you live on if not for a planet? 5 D. Are there no planets in the fifth dimension? In the fifth dimension, is there no planets?
So Twitter censored you for saying what? It would be interesting to hear directly from you. What
W E A R E L A O R G E R T H A N S H
And then I immediately retweeted
A
my policy and the policy that I
T.
and actually it's the president's
Right, that was a THAT. Then you wrote we are larger than that. Is that what you wrote? We are larger than that.
morning to a bunch of emails from so-called journalists. I use the term loosely, and they were saying that my Twitter account
Yes.
was blocked. And so, I first
Interesting.
and of course,
So,
the account. Then I realized after 6 hours.
so if you're not on a planet, you've told me before that there's a certain amount of moons. I forget what the number is. Let me ask you right now: how many moons are there in the fifth dimension where you live? How many moons are there?
We're living in a world where an opinion, even if it's based in fact, even if it's science, is
9.
as if there's some kind of poison for even allowing it to be expressed.
Mary, I thought you told me that there was like 4 moons last time I asked you. Do you remember the last time I asked you?
Entering dangerous territory there because the fundamental difference really.
Did you tell me 9 on that day?
And the USSR or North Korea or any of these other places is
Yes.
And once we don't allow facts to be out there, the country.
How many moons are there in the fourth dimension?
Right. It's a great country. It remains a great country, but the worst people in our history suddenly are in charge, as you're finding out. Dr. Atlas, thank
4.
you for your bravery. I appreciate it. Okay, thank you. So the New York Times said today that it was surprised by new data.
I think that I have written down 7 from the last time that you that.
Was not surprised by that.
So let me write this down. 9, 5D.
Fear and the power of science. He's got more on this story, Dr. Siegel. Good to see you.
4D. So Mary, is it true that there's 9 moons in the fifth dimension and 4 moons in the fourth dimension? Is that true?
Who was worried? Me. And I wasn't worried because of the facts. I was worried because of fears that have been superimposed on me. Fear of school. Fear he could get a COVID there. Fear
Yes.
of infection. Now, he went back to school, by the way, because there had been a couple of cases, but they...
Mary, so if you don't live on a planet, how is there moons?
Studies are really backing up how low the risk is. Brown University, late last month, revealed, looking at 550 schools, Tucker, that only
W
1 in 1,000 kids approximately,
E
even less than that, get infected with COVID, with confirmed
E
COVID-19, and teachers and staff who
Y
are less than 2 in 1,000, very, very low. And New
I
York City, by the way, where all of this
S.
great controversy
No,
is
that's
going
T.
on, all of this arguing, and what do we do? And teachers say,
W
hybrid learning and online learning is very stressful
I
and exhausting, and all of this battling now.
T
New York City has tested the kids
H
and the staff, and you know what they found? 16,000 tests were done in the first week.
I
You know how many were positive out of 16,000?
N
28.
A
8 students out of 16,000.
L
So I've got a
L
brain now that it's really quite safe.
W
You know what I'm really afraid of? I'm afraid of kids being out of school, not getting meals,
O
not getting mental health care, not getting eye care,
R
not getting dental care. I'm afraid of the parents
L
having to be at home with them. I'm afraid of kids not being tested
D
for developmental delay. All of
S.
this worries me greatly. So when I see my
All right, I think you wrote we exist. Mary, did you write we exist within all worlds? Did you write that?
But I'll tell you one final thing. I wrote a fear book, and this book that you just mentioned, and I'll tell you the problem.
So do you mean that like fifth dimensional people exist within all worlds? Is that what you're saying?
Before we believe them, we need to believe them for the sake of our children, Tucker.
Amen. Fear has huge costs and effects on the human body, as you pointed out on the show. Dr. Siegel, great to see you. Congrats on the book.
Thank you, Tucker.
A couple of weeks ago, we told you about a rapper in California, one of our favorites, all over our Spotify, who rapped about taking advantage, stealing.
Mary, when Neanderthals were on the Earth, did they talk like people talked when they were on the Earth?
Update in the saga of Nuke Bizzle. And of course, we want
Were they able to talk? No. So I want to go back to this you exist within all worlds. So could you explain to me a little bit more about what you mean when you say that that we exist within all worlds. Could you be a little bit more clear?
Now more than ever, those great places can bring us together. And I can promise you, it'll be a vacation to remember. To learn how to explore South Dakota safely, visit our website.
Why should you switch to Pure Talk? Because they use the same network as the larger providers for much less. With plans starting at $20 a month for unlimited talk
L
and 2 gigs of data with no contract. The average
A
customer saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. And remember, you'll get the same number of bars because it's on the same network as
I
the providers. Dial pound 250 and say
N
TV to save 50% off your first month.
S
Simply smarter wireless. Do you feel
C
like clean your ears at home doesn't work well enough?
H
I felt the same way. But then I tried the Wax
A
ear wash system.
N
Wax was designed by a doctor and is the same
G
system used in medical clinics. The reusable
E
Wax system has everything you need to effectively remove
planes change.
without the inconvenience of a doctor's visit.
Do you mean like
Trusted Wax RX ear wash system.
like are you referring to the earthly plane? Are you referring to like the earthly plane when you say planes change?
Causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new
You said yes.
mattress topper.
Hello, I'd like to know when I invest
In what way do planes change? What do you mean by that?
everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes
Why?
with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA,
Oh.
and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
U
Little topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
C
Call now to get your
A
very own pillow mattress topper. Use the promo
N
code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2
T
pillows absolutely free. Order now.
K
Personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
N
Life insurance policy
O
no longer needed. Now you can sell your policy, even a term policy,
W.
for immediate cash payment.
We thought we had planned carefully for our
So, is it possible that before, when I talked to you, there was a different amount of moons in the fifth dimension as there are now? Is that possible? That before there was less amount of moons, and now there's more amount of moons since planes change?
4100 or visit CoventryDirect.com.
E
Oh no.
A
Coming home to a dark house and you're uptight.
S
Is outside in the night. Outdoor lighting
I
systems cost a fortune, and leaving the lights
L
on all night drives you till
Y
hours out of sight. You need the Bell and Howell
easily.
The outdoor motion
Yeah, because I think you said like 7 moons last time. Do the moons in the fourth dimension, do those also change? The amount of moons? Yes. Mary, what makes a moon? What changes that makes the amount of moons change? What causes that to happen? Because like here on Earth, we have like a sun, and it revolves. I know you know it revolves around the Earth and all that. What's it like for you? Since it changes, does it cycle through? I'll ask that. Is there a cycle that makes the amount of moons change? Is it a repeating cycle? No. R A N D O N H random H. Were you going to spell out a different word when you went to H, or was that just noise? No. So I'll take that as it was just noise. Mary, I talk to people that seem to want to hurt me online. Like they're trying to, it's called like trigger. Like they're trying to get an emotional response out of me that would make me feel, I don't know if you know what triggered is. It would make me feel like emotionally bad and like, I guess like, I don't know how to explain that feeling. But I was wondering, like the people that are internet trolls, those are the people that want to make people feel bad. Like they want to argue with them and make them feel like they're wrong all the time. Do those people go to the fifth dimension?
Unfortunately for them, the feds saw a new business rep song too, and last week they arrested him for fraudulently obtaining at least 92 debit cards worth a total of 1.2 million in benefits. So he was actually telling the truth in his song. He now faces 20 years in prison for charges including identity theft and interstate transportation of stolen property. But there is a lesson at the bottom of this parable, this little morality tale. I like to end every night show with one of these. Here's the if you want to stay out of trouble, Gavin Newsom, it's better to stick to selling cocaine. They'll never bother you. That's it for us tonight. Good luck.
In time, most do. But would they pretty much like, if a person was doing that to another person, like they were trying to make a person feel like they were wrong, would they pretty much, if they were trying to do that at the end of their life, they would be on the path to be reincarnated? Is that true?
Breaking moments ago in what looks like another major effort to protect the weak, frail, ever-confused Joe Biden, now the Presidential Debate Commission decided, again, unilaterally, that they will be muting the candidates' microphones when the other is talking on Thursday's debate. We have a lot coming up. Now, tonight, it's 15 days, and you, the American people, it will all be in your hands. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You are the ultimate jury. We are now officially at the stretch, and President Trump's campaign is in high gear. Over the weekend, huge, massive crowds lining up everywhere to greet the president in California, for example, as you can see. He also visited the state of Nevada, where he held a massive rally.
Mary, and I was wondering, I know we've talked a lot about like folklore creatures. I was wondering, are trolls real? Like the trolls that live in the Billy Goat's Gruff? Like are trolls real?
And so far, since making a speedy recovery from COVID-19, in addition to what we already mentioned, this president has had rallies in Sanford, Florida, Johnston, Pennsylvania, Des Moines, Iowa, Greenville, North Carolina, also outside of Orlando in Florida, Macon, Georgia, northern Minnesota, and Janesville, Wisconsin.
No.
It's safe to say Donald Trump is working hard, crisscrossing.
I was curious, Mary, if you were jealous of anybody, because you once told me that spirits are jealous in the fifth dimension. And I was wondering, are you jealous of anybody?
This has never happened in the history of presidential politics, where one guy spends the entire campaign 15 days out of election deciding to take a 4-day vacation after he only worked 1 day and then had another day off. Joe Biden is not crisscrossing the country. He's not campaigning. He is hosting any events at all. Earlier today, his campaign Joe Biden will work every day to bind up our wounds and put this country back together. Bumper stickers, slogans, meaningless. That is, unless you count today, tomorrow, or the next day, or the day after that, because the Biden campaign has zero public events scheduled for the next 3 days. And he was off Saturday. Did only one event on Sunday.
Mary, I want to ask you some questions about me. What percent is it right now that I will be going and being my true self? What percent is that right now?
Including this really hard-hitting question about what's his favorite chip. What's your
7?
did you get, Mr. Vice President? What was
6. 76%. That's pretty good. I really want to reach my true self. There was a question about that. Hold on. Mary, does it ever become a surprise to guides that their charges become their true self in their finishing station? So I'm asking if they expect that their charge would reincarnate, but then the charge goes to the finishing station and ends up becoming their true self. Does that ever happen?
I know you asked it. I have no response. It's another smear campaign. Right up your alley. Those are the questions you always ask.
The smear campaign. What are you,
R
you junkie? Oh, all right.
A
Notice Biden has lashed out
R
after CBS reporter accused him of participating in a smear campaign
L
just for asking a question. And notice,
Y.
and this is really important, Joe never denied
Did you mean rarely?
allegations. In fact, to date, we're paying very close attention, despite multiple official and unofficial statements.
Mary, this next question I feel like I've asked you before, but I want to ask you again just in case I haven't asked you. Does the soul have a personality that's separate from the body? Like, does my soul have a personality that's different than what I've incarnated with?
That's probably because it's true. Now, Hunter Biden has no experience in Ukraine. He has no experience in Russia. He had no experience in China. He had no experience in Kazakhstan. He had no experience in oil, gas,
Yes.
or energy. He had no credible experience
Yes
in
and no.
domestic investments.
Mary, can you explain why you said yes and no?
Zero experience Hunter somehow received massive consulting fees, millions of dollars from sketchy foreign nationals in all of these
No.
countries, every single one of them. As our friend
Mary, why did you say yes?
business partners now is in prison. The other partner, who you probably have heard of, Devin Archer, he is now
And?
awaiting his sentencing. He will be going to jail too. And by the way, when you go through the court records, Hunter's name comes
I
up a lot. And it's not just the
A
millions from Ukraine.
M
You get the $1.5 billion with a
T.
$1 billion deal with the Bank of
Or is
China.
that a U? Is it a T or a U?
According to the Ron Johnson
U.
Grassley Senate report, in December
Or now it's a
2013,
T.
we now know that Hunter signed on to a sweetheart deal
Um,
with a Chinese
E.
state-backed investment fund,
D.
giving Hunter massive amounts of equity and
E.
revenue in a partnership with
T.
a government-linked firm. Now, that was 10 days after Hunter
A.
flew with his father aboard Air Force One
I.
to trip to China. And breaking
L.
news, Fox News has corroborated a May
S.
2017 email thread that discussed a payout from a
Mary, I got details. What was the first word that you wrote? The one that started with an M. Could you spell that again?
and more equity, quote, held by H for the big guy.
M.
Now, sources are telling Fox News tonight
I.
the big guy would be quid pro quo Joe Biden, the vice president,
A.
and himself.
M.
So, Joe, now you have to answer a very simple question.
U.
Is it true? Are you the big guy
T.
in this big deal that your zero
E.
experience son was making all this money on?
Are you saying minutia?
In a Chinese investment fund earmarked for you. Maybe
Minutia?
you didn't want us
Minutia details?
hysterical, xenophobic, and fear-mongering. You probably
Neon.
business dealings.
Nute. Minute. Sorry, I don't know how to spell, or maybe you're spelling wrong. Did you say minute details?
$1 million wire transfer from the corrupt Russian oligarch. Remember the first lady of Moscow? That went to zero experience Hunter. Did you take a cut of that? And why did Joe Biden?
You said yes. Okay, Mary, I'm going to go now, and thank you so much for talking to me.
And allowing Joe Biden 15 days out of an election to take another 4-day vacation. What about April 2014, a payout that he got from a Kazakh oligarch? And what about the monthly payouts that Hunter began receiving from that